So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be talking about the Indian Express newspaper. So we will be discussing some important article from today's newspaper and we will try to understand what is the background linkages and all. So we will be going through the some part of static as well when we are talking about the National Board for Wildlife meeting. So recently, after nearly 2012, this is the first time that the full body meeting is happening. Okay, so considering that this particular meeting becomes important for us, so what we will do is that we will be talking about the meeting as well as we will also see what is National Board of Wildlife. So that is the static part which we will be covering. Okay, so this is the idea, like whenever we are going for the news, our idea is to go for the news as well as the whatever backward linkage is there. Okay, so we'll be going for that and then we'll be moving to the next one, race to secure copper. Recently we must have heard about or we must have talked about the India having some kind of mining or the exploration in Zambia. Okay, so when we are talking about this, so considering that, you will be seeing that India, China, USA, they are all going for the for a race to secure copper. Why copper? Because when we talk about the industry related to the electrical vehicle, when we talk about the electronics and the electrical equipments, etc., in such cases you require copper. Okay, so we will be seeing that there is a race which is going on and we will see the impacts as well, and we will also see what is the India's stand with respect to that. Okay, and then we'll be moving to the next one, that is olive ridley turtles. So this is the nesting season for them, so they have come on the Odisha coast. So we'll be talking about that and we will be seeing that what these coasts are called, what kind of you can say places they are found. All these things we will be covering over here. Okay, so that is there. There was this sir PDF send करना भूल जाते हैं आप daily. It's all right. I'll be sharing the PDF. That is not a problem. You will be getting the PDF. So we are talking about it anyway over here for your revision. I'll be sending the PDF. Don't worry about that. Okay. Now let's start with the first one, that is PYQ of the day, and then we'll be going to the geography through the map. Here we will be talking about a region called Sahel region. Okay. In the both you can see in the PYQ as well as in the geography through maps, we will be talking about the Sahel region. So let's start our discussion. For your own read, there is no article today because the other articles were related to, or you can say in a way they were not very relevant for us, so we did not go for that. Okay, now coming to the next one, explanation of the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture, and then we'll be giving you one question for today as well. Okay, now let's start with the first one, that is PYQ of the day. Consider the following statements. Statement 1 is there is the instability and worsening security situation in the Sahel region. Now they are saying that there is instability and the worsening security situation in the Sahel region. Now that is correct. Okay. When we talk about the Sahel region, you must have seen that there are countries like Mali, Niger, okay, Chad. You must have seen that in the last few decades we have seen military coups over here. Okay, military coups are there. There is a stronghold of the organization like IS, etc., and because of which there is a chaos which is going on in this region, and there is political instability as well. Okay, so that is there. Coming to the next one, there have been military takeovers, that is coups d'état, in several countries of the Sahel region in the past. Now this is also correct because we just saw that there were military coups which has happened. So you can see that the second statement is basically explaining the first statement. Second statement is talking about the military coup, and the first statement saying is that there is an instability in the region. So because of the military coup, there is instability in the region. So this is about the Sahel region. Now when we talk about the Sahel region is in Africa. Here answer would be A. Both 1 and 2 statements are correct, and the statement 2 explain the statement 1. Now what is important for us over here is that what is your Sahel region. Now Sahel region is there in Africa. Now when we talk about Africa, you know that there is the Sahara desert which was there, and below that there are grasslands as well. Now this Sahel region is basically on verge of both. Okay, so let's see here. When we talk about this particular part, so this is your grassland part, this part over here, that is Sahara part. Now when we talk about this patch over here, this patch is basically your Sahel region. Now this patch is facing various issues. This is facing political instability, economic crisis. Other than that, you will be seeing that the military coups are there. Various organizations which are having affiliation with the extremist groups, etc., they are also active over here in this region. That is why this region is kind of, you can say, unstable. Now if we talk about the countries over here, so here you can say Senegal, Mauritania, Mali, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, some part of Nigeria over here. Then you will be seeing the Chad. Here some part of Algeria. Okay. Then here you will be seeing the Sudan. After that, here you will be seeing the South Sudan, some part of South Sudan. Okay, then Eritrea. These are the countries which are basically over here. Now if we look at this particular portion over here, a little bit part of Cameroon is also over there. Okay, so this is about your countries which are basically included in the Sahel region. Okay, now again Sahel region is a politically unstable region wherein you will be finding the extremist group, they are having the strong held. Other than that, the climatic conditions are harsh over here, so that is the reason this region is not very prosperous. There are instabilities which is going on. Now on the occasion of Holi, we are bringing you a special gift over here. From 5th to 12th March, we will be offering 60% less prices on all our online courses and 40% less prices on all books and the test series. For more details, you can call us on 87501 or to avail the offer, you can actually download the Drishti Learning app, and on from 5th to 12th, you can avail this particular offer. So you can tell your friends and family about it if you need. Okay. Now let's see the first article, that is basically a National Board of Wildlife meeting. Recently what has happened after here you can say since 2012, this is the first time this particular body is meeting. Okay, when we talk about the National Board of Wildlife, now this is a, you can say, pioneer body when we talk about the environment protection etc. and the wildlife protection etc. And when we see that if there is a project, when we are talking about the protected areas and all, if there is a project, this body will be giving you the, you can say, approval. Okay, now this body is under the chairmanship of Prime Minister. Okay, so that is the importance of this particular body. But since 2012, there was no full body meeting which has happened. Okay, no meetings were there, but the full body meeting was not there. Okay, so now let's see National Board for Wildlife meeting. First is first full body NBWL meeting since 2012. So that is the importance, because of which they can ask you about the National Board of Wildlife. They can ask you about the, you can say, whatever the static part is related to the National Board of Wildlife. We will be talking about that. Chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Gir National Park. Now Gir National Park becomes important for you because anyways, when we talk about the environment aspects and the protected areas, Gir National Park is important for your aesthetic lines. Okay, so that is there. Otherwise also now it will become more important because of this particular meeting. Okay. Then coming to the next one here, reviewed major wildlife conservation initiatives and the proposed new projects. Over here, they have reviewed certain projects and they have proposed new projects as well. One by one, we will be talking about them. Now, if we talk about the major announcement here, you can see Project Cheetah expansion. Now, recently you must have heard about the reintroduction of cheetahs in Kuno. That was there. And after that, now they are saying that they will be going for the other areas like Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary, that is there in Madhya Pradesh, and then Banni grasslands in Gujarat. Okay, so these are some of the area which will be added over here. Then coming to the next one, aimed at improving the cheetah population and the habitat restoration, which was the same objective for the Kuno when we gone for the cheetah reintroduction program at Kuno. Coming to the next one, Asiatic lion conservation. Now, since we are talking about the Gir over here, this particular meeting has happened at the Gir National Park. So, because of which this particular aspect has been important over here. Population survey scheduled for the May 2025, focus on increasing the lion population outside the Saurashtra region. Now, when we talk about the Asiatic lion, okay, earlier this was found in India and the nearby places as well. Okay, but in the last few years, I would say nearly 50-60 years, this population has been restricted to the India only, and that too in the Saurashtra region, or that is your Gir National Park area. Okay, so that is there. Last survey was conducted in 2020. Next survey will be conducted in May 2025. Okay. Then coming to the next one, river dolphin census. So for first time ever, we are going to the first ever riverine dolphin count in India. Found that there was 6,327 dolphins across Ganga, Brahmaputra and Indus basin. Here you can see on the Ganga basin you find dolphins, you find dolphins on the Brahmaputra and the Indus basin. Okay, so that is about your dolphins. Now coming to the next one, new conservation initiatives if we talk about. So Gharial conservation. Now Gharial conservation was launched due to the declining populations, and you must have seen that recently world over, if we see that the Gharial population is declining, we have seen that in India, in Madhya Pradesh basically they have improved. Okay, so that is there. So that is Gharial conservation project launched due to the declining population. Coming to the next one, National Great Indian Bustard Conservation Plan. When we talk about the National Great Indian Bustard Conservation Plan, you know one thing certain, which is when we talk about the maximum population that is there in Rajasthan. Okay, now there is a habitat threat which was there because of the lack of habitat. Second thing is there are these power lines which are basically when we are talking about the Great Indian Bustard or the GIB, whenever they are encountering with these power lines, they are actually losing their life. So that is also one of the reasons that their population need to be, you can say, protected. Coming to the next one, protection of the tiger outside the reserves. So that is also the third thing, new conservation initiatives. Now coming to the addressing the human wildlife conflict. That is one of the important, you can say, reason when we talk about the, be it your animals, when we talk about the elephant, when we talk about the tigers, they are coming in contact with the humans because human is entering into their domain. Okay, second thing is when habitat destructions happen, what happens is that, let's say this was the forest earlier, but because of the development and all, we have entered into this particular land. Now this was earlier a forest, now we are having buildings over here. Okay, the problem is their habitation or their habitat has shrunken. Now what happens when there is a lack of prey, or even that we are into their vicinity, the animal will start to move into the human settlements as well. Okay, now because of which we are having this human wildlife conflict. Other than that, if let's say this is your protected area, there is a road which is going through this particular region. Okay, if there is a road or any kind of canal project, etc., if it is going from this particular region, you will be seeing that recently you must have heard about the Ranthambore. Okay, so there was this Parvati Chambal Parvati Kali Sindh Eastern Rajasthan Canal project. Okay, and because of this particular project, what is happening is that Ranthambore, some part are being submerged. Okay, now this is the area which is a contiguous forest zone, and because of which some of the tiger reserves part is being submerged into it. So that will restrict the movements of the tigers. Okay, now that is the same problem over here, that if there is a road going through this particular region, you will be seeing that the tigers, etc., they will be moving into these directions, they will be moving into the roads and all, and now that is the problem over here. So that is something because of which human wildlife conflict can happen. Okay, now coming to the next one. Here, new center for the human wildlife conflict management to be set up at Wildlife Institute of India, that is in Coimbatore. Aim is to develop strategies for resolving the increasing conflict between the human and wildlife, focus on the community involvement and local populations participation. Okay, so that is the idea behind this. Now policy and the technology adaptation. So here they are using AI, machine learning, geospatial mapping for the better conservation, then training rapid response teams for the wildlife conflict management, proposal to digitally document traditional conservation knowledge from the local communities like Maldharis of Gujarat. Okay, now this is quite important for you. This is a tribal community which is living in Gujarat, that can be asked. Okay, so that is why that becomes important. Global conservation leadership, if we talk about, so here discussion on India's role in the International Big Cat Alliance, IBCA, launched in April 2023. India aims to maintain leadership in the big cat conservation. So that is there. When we talk about the big cats, there are 7 species which are kept, out of which 5 are found in India. Okay, puma and jaguar, they are not found in India. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now we can move further to the next one. National Board of Wildlife. As I told you, we will be talking about the news and then we will be talking about the statics. So here you can see the static over here. National Board for Wildlife, that is constituted under Section 5A of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. The board was constituted through an amendment to the WLPA, that is Wildlife Protection Act, that is there in 2022. It replaced the Indian Board for Wildlife. Earlier there was this Indian Board for Wildlife which was formed in 1952. NBWL is India's top level advisory body to the government on the matters pertaining to the wildlife conservation, particularly within the protected areas. Okay, if there is a project, etc., in that case also they will be needing their approval. Okay, it is responsible for guiding the government's decision on the matters related to the wildlife conservation and the issuing approval for the projects in the protected areas. And it is having 47 member committee headed by the Prime Minister and the Minister of the Environment, Forest and the Climate Change as the vice chairperson. Okay, so here chairperson is Prime Minister, vice chairperson is basically your Ministry of Environment, forest and climate change. Okay, so this is about the National Board of Wildlife. Now we can move further to the next one over here. Now, race to secure copper decoding, recent moves by India, China and US. Recently what has happened? 3 days, 3 different events has happened. 27th February, Zambia secured 9,000 square kilometer block for the copper and the cobalt mining. Here in India will be having a stake. Then coming to the next one, February 2025, the White House has warned against the over reliance on the foreign copper, citing national security risk. Okay, so basically they are saying that for the copper we cannot rely on other countries. Coming to this February 70, here Bloomberg reports a tightening copper supply, pushing China to secure long-term overseas sources. Okay, so basically China is also going for the long-term overseas sources over here. So these are the 3 developments which has happened in the last month. Now let's see, why is that there is a rising demand of the copper, right? Simply I told you that we are going for the cleaner energy, we are going for the green energy, etc. Now considering that the copper becomes important, or otherwise also when we talk about the electronics and the communications, ITCs or any kind of you can say space technology, etc. Copper is an important element which is over there. Even in your normal life when we talk about, copper is an important element which is there. So driven by the EV batteries, clean energy technologies, electronics, expected to outstrip supply by 2035, creating a global supply chain crisis. China, US and EU are scrambling to secure stable copper supplies. Okay, so basically they are saying that by 2035 there will be a crunch in the supply chain. So what they are doing is that they are securing the resources. Now India's copper scenario, domestic production stagnant hai. Okay, Hindustan Copper Limited sales fell by 6% on year basis. And then coming to the imports has increased, because if your domestic production is declining, okay, you have to fulfill your demand. So that means that you will be relying on the imports. Okay, so imports has surged to 26,000 crore in 23-24 due to the low domestic output. India has large copper deposits. Okay, but the problem is that when we talk about the exploration approvals, going for the mining, all these you can say events take nearly 15 to 17 years. Now that is one of the reasons that the exploration part we are not very good over here. So we are having the reserves, but the thing is the permits approval, they take nearly 17 years for mining. Reliance on Chile, Democratic Republic of Congo and Zambia for the imports for copper. Okay, so this is about India's scenario in copper. Now coming to the Africa's role. Africa, why we are talking about Africa over here is that we have taken Zambia. In recently I told you that there was a block of 9,000 square kilometer which was there, and India is having stake over here, and because of which basically you can say Africa's role is important, because otherwise also when we talk about the resources, Africa has good amount of resources. Okay, Africa's role in copper supply. Africa accounts for 70% of the cobalt and 16% of the global copper output. DRC is the largest copper supplier by 2030. Okay, so that is there. Coming to the next one, Zambia is the 7th largest copper producer and its new mining block aims to boost the output. India, US, China investing in Africa's mining sector for resources security. Now here 2-3 things which you have to remember is that Africa accounts for nearly 70% of the cobalt and 16% of the copper. Then DRC is the largest copper supplier by 2030, and the third thing is that Zambia is the 7th largest copper producer. Okay, so that is about it. Now we can move further to the next article. Why olive ridley turtles come to Odisha nesting ground in the large number this year? In 2023 we did not witness much number. Okay, before that there was a good number, and then now 2024 and 25 recently what we have seen that nearly 6 lakhs turtles has come out over here. Okay, now they have a fixed season, they will come out, but the thing is some years they don't even turn up. Okay, and now we don't know the reason behind that, exact reason is not known, and the last year was such you can say year wherein they did not come out. So that is the thing over here. Now what is olive ridley turtle? Here there is a picture which is given, you can see. This is your olive ridley turtle. Now we will be talking about a lot about the nesting sites sector. So I will be telling you that see, they are coming out. This is your you can say sea, and on the shore they will be digging the digs over here. Okay, they will be going for a burrow over here, or you can say, and then that burrows will be there in triangular shapes. Okay, then it will be nearly 1 and 1.5 feet deep, and then they will be going for the laying the eggs. Okay, so these are the mass nesting sites which are there, and these are called as aribada. Mass nesting sites for the olive ridley turtles are called as aribada. Okay, so that is something which you should remember. Now, where these aribadas are located, so in India or outside also they are having, but in India if you talk about, mostly on the Odisha coast. Okay, Rishikulia river is there, other than that Gahir Mata wildlife sanctuary is there. So these are the area where you will be finding them. Now let's see the areas first. Okay, so here you can see these are the mass, you can say, nesting sites which are there. So here this is your mouth of Rishikulia river, this is one of the site. Coming to the next one, here you will be seeing the mouth of the Mahanadi river is also important over here. Then here this is your Gahir Mata wildlife sanctuary. Okay, these are the areas where you will be seeing that there will be nesting sites or the aribadas for the olive ridley turtles. All of them are there in Odisha. Okay, now coming to the article over here, olive green shields. Now shells, sorry, not seals, shell. Now these are famous for their shells. Okay, they will be having shells. This is of olive green color, and when we talk about the number, they are abundant. Okay, they are not critical, endangered, etc. They are abundant in number. That is there. So olive ridley turtles are the smallest and the most abundant of sea turtles. Inhabit warm waters of the Pacific, Atlantic, and the Indian Ocean. So Pacific, Atlantic, and Indian Ocean. One important thing is that warm waters. Now that you should remember. Coming to the next one, they will be having a heart shaped olive green shell and can grow about 2 feet in the length. When we talk about the you can say an adult turtle over here, they will be having a length that is about 2 feet and the 50 kg in the weight. Okay, now maturity age is around 14 years, and then you will be seeing that when we talk about the mass nesting behavior, which I already told you, that they will be going for an area where they will be having places where they can go for the digging the burrows. Okay, so here unique mass nesting, these are called as the aribadas. Arrival, basically the word aribada means that arrival. Okay, when these turtles are coming out of the sea, that is called as aribada. So here you will be seeing that thousands of the female swarms at the same beach to lay eggs. Camps Ridley and the olive ridley sea turtles. Okay, this particular new name is there, Camps Ridley. Okay, so that is also one of the types that you can remember, and olive ridley. Okay, coming to the next one, 6 lakhs female has come this side, emerged from the sea over the period of 5 to 7 days to lay eggs in 1.5 foot deep conical nests, which I already told you. Now biggest nesting in Odisha, we have seen recently largest olive ridley mass nesting sites, that is Rishikulia, Gahir Mata in the Kendrapada district of Odisha, and other than that Mexico and the Costa Rica are the beaches where you can find them. Favorable weather condition if you talk about, so here you can say they require warm, sandy beaches, and you can say undisturbed coastal ecosystem. Okay, so that are the requirements which are there. Now turtle prefers beaches with the mild slope, medium width, and the greater percentage of the medium sand and low salinity. These are the requirements which are there. They are preferring this. If there is a mild slope or the you can say medium slope which is there, medium width should be there so that they can go for the nesting over here, and a great percentage of medium sand with low salinity, that should be there. Lower wind speed or the low to moderate waves and the moderate southwestward current before nestings are conducive for the turtles. Now when the turtles wants to come to your coast, these are the things which should be there. Low wind speed should be there, low moderate waves. Okay, because the thing is, if the waves are very fast or the speed is not very fast, in that case what will happen is that the direction of the turtle may get changed. Okay, so that is the issue over here. That is why they are saying that low wind speed, low to moderate waves, and the moderate southwestward current before nesting are conducive for the turtles to inhabit the coastal waters in the large number. Okay, now when we talk about the wind speed generates the relatively higher wave heights and helping the sea turtles to move to the beach. If the wave height is more, that means that they can come with the water over here on the beach. So that is the idea behind the certain conditions which are important. Okay, large number this year, which we have already seen that last year they did not turn up and this time they are coming. Now we do not know the exact reason that why they were not there in the last season. Okay, so that is about the olive ridley turtle. We have talked about the areas over here. So Kendrapada district you should remember. Then coming to the next one over here, we have talked about the olive ridley turtles and their picture over here. Okay, Now let's move further to the next article. That is, after successful private landing on the moon, more missions to follow. Yesterday we have seen that there was this Firefly Aerospace. It's a private body. They have gone for the their own spacecraft landing, which was there on the moon. Okay, the name of the lander was Ghost. Blue Ghost. Okay, so that was there. Now they are saying that since it is a commercial project, this is the second time when a company is going over there. A private company has gone over there. So here you will be seeing that other than these projects, there are other projects as well. So let's talk about that. Yesterday we have covered this. Okay, so we will not go into details of that, but I have covered all these things in your slides over here. Successful private landing. Fireflies Aerospace Blue Ghost has landed on the moon on the March 3rd of 2024. Here you can see that is 2025. Mark the second private moon landing after intuitive machines Odysseus. Okay, so basically that is another, you can say, private landing which has happened in 2023, part of NASA's efforts to evolve private companies in the lunar exploration. That is there. Now what is the scientific missions and the objective? Private mission it is, and carrying NASA's instrument to the studying solar surface, sorry, lunar surface, not solar surface, lunar surface. And then when we talk about the objectives of the Blue Ghost here, so test landing technology, study lunar surface and the subsurface, dust mitigation methods, etc. Operate for the one lunar day, that is 14 Earth days over there, and then it will be completing this journey, increasing lunar traffic. So here more private missions to be scheduled for 2024, and basically here I would say 2025. I don't know how that mistake has happened, but anyway it is 2025. Astrobotic technologies mission, that is later this year. Intuitive machines third mission, that is IM3. We have already seen that there was one which has already gone. Hakuto R mission, that is from Japan, and then Japan's SIM mission in 2023. So that is there. These are some of the things which you should remember about this particular you can say exploration. Now in the end we have a question for you which you have to attempt and answer to us in the comment box. Practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture, we will be going for the explanation, and then we will be having a question for yourself. Then where is the Catalonia located, which we have already seen that when we talk about the Iberian Peninsula, like this we have a peninsula, and over here, okay, this is your Spain, and over here this is Catalonia. Okay, so that is basically northeastern, you can say, Spain. Option B is your right answer. Okay, in the end we have this question for you, that is basically where was the first full body meeting of the National Board for Wildlife NBWL since 2012 has held. Ranthambore National Park, Gir National Park, Kaziranga National Park, or the Jim Corbett National Park. So you can attempt this question and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. I'll see you in the next session. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you, and please study well. Don't forget to subscribe the channel. Have a nice day. Thank you.